Hola, welcome back to another Spanish lesson with Senor Geis. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about the verb tener, what it means and how to use it, and an extra expression that you can use that uses the word tener. So tener means to have. And if you remember from previous videos about conjugation, the ER at the end of tener means to. So tener means to have. And when you conjugate tener, you would think that you could just follow the normal endings. And since tener ends in an ER, you would think you would use the ER endings. So you would think you would add an O for yo, an S for tú, an E for él or ella, an hemos for nosotros, an es for vosotros, and en for ellos. But unfortunately for us, tener is an irregular verb, and that means it does not follow this normal pattern. So everything here is wrong. Don't ever conjugate tener like this. With the irregular verb tener, you are going to have to memorize a couple little weird things to help that tener has that are different from a normal verb. So when conjugating tener for yo, in order to say I have, you're going to add a G-O at the end, not just an O. So yo tengo means I have. For example, tengo mucho dinero means I have a lot of money. Tú, when you're conjugating tener for tú, you are not going to just add an ES at the end. You're going to actually put an I after the T and before the E. So tien, and then you can actually add the normal ending. So tú tienes, you have. Tú tienes. So for example, tienes un pájaro, you have a bird. Tienes un pájaro. When conjugating tener for él or ella, you are also going to add that same I in the same place. So tien, and then you can add the normal ending, e. So tiene, él tiene, or ella tiene means he or she has. For example, mi madre tiene una hermana. My mother has a sister. Now, the nosotros form is pretty easy because nosotros, you're going to just add the normal hemos ending. So nosotros tenemos means we have. For example, tenemos una tarea hoy. We have homework today. Vosotros is the same. You are going to be able to use the normal ending. So vosotros tenéis. You all have, or you guys have. For example, tenéis el pelo negro. You guys have black hair. Ellos, in this form, you're going to add the I, like in the tú and el and ella forms. So you'll add that I, so you have tien, and then you can add the normal en ending. So ellos tienen means they have. For example, nuestros abuelos tienen un carro. Our grandparents have a car. So now we know all the forms. Let's take a little bit of a closer look just to help us memorize these 6 forms. So the first thing you're going to have to memorize is that the yo form has a go at the end. You're going to insert that G before the O. And there's actually a lot of verbs in Spanish that do this, and you will probably learn them eventually if you don't know them already. The tú, el, ella, and ellos forms of tener all add the I in there. And if you're familiar with stem-changing verbs, it's because tener is, in a sense, a stem-changing verb. If you don't know what that means yet, don't worry. Just remember that you need to put an I in these 3 different forms of tener. And then finally, the nosotros and vosotros forms of tener don't have anything weird with them. You're going to add the normal ER endings, hemos and es. Now, there's a special expression that you can use with tener, and that is tener a certain number of años, which means to be a certain number of years old. And you might think that's a little bit weird because tener means have. But if you were to translate this phrase literally, it would be to have a certain number of years. Años means years, and tener means to have. So you can use this in a lot of different expressions. For example, tengo blank años. Tengo a certain number of años. So, for example, yo tengo 25 años. I am 25 years old. Or you could say, tengo 14 años. I am 14 years old. Or I have 14 years. Or you could say, tengo 15 años. I am 15 years old. Now, along with this phrase, you're going to need to know this question. ¿Cuántos años tienes? How old are you? Or how many years do you have? ¿Cuántos años tienes? Take a minute here to answer this question to yourself. ¿Cuántos años tienes? Okay, so in summary, tener means to have, and there are 6 different forms. The yo tengo, tú tienes, él or ella tiene. Nosotros tenemos, vosotros tenéis, ellos tienen. You can also use the word tener with the word años to tell how old somebody is, and to answer the question, ¿cuántos años tienes? How old are you?